going to do today is talk about how to do a syllabus for online courses. And although we're talking about online courses here, a lot of what we talk about could certainly be appropriate for campus courses too. But we'll stick to the online thing. And what I've got there is a handout of a sample of an online syllabus. And this is for just to explain the context of this. This is as you can tell by the title, Research in Safety and Health. This is a research course, and it's a graduate course. So that's going to be the whole orientation of this. But I think you can tell what adaptations you might have to make for some other different type of course. And of course, the provost has a format that we're supposed to follow, and this does follow the format. But nothing says you can't add things, and you'll see there's a lot that's added to this. Now, just a little bit of overview. When you're thinking about an online student, they are probably an older student. In our case, we actually do have our graduate program is online, so we know who those people are. We know what they're like, and so and the more you know about that, of course, the better you can adapt your syllabus to the audience. But in our case, and this is directed toward that, these are working professionals. At the present time, I think the youngest we got is in their upper 20s. The oldest is in their lower 50s, and in the 40s, 30s is probably the most common age of these people. These are extremely busy people. Many of them work for international corporations. They travel a lot, and so we have to provide them the information that they need. And this is one of the reasons this is written this way, as you'll see, is to provide them as much information as we reasonably can in one document. And you also have to think about when the online students are working on the course. And for the most part, it's probably not going to be during the day. It's going to be at night. So what I always do is I always think about it is, okay, they finally get some time and they sit down at 10 o'clock at night and they're going to work a little while. And there's nobody to talk to ask questions of. And so as many questions as you can answer in the syllabus, and hopefully they will read it, that's a different issue, then the better off they will be, so that they're not stymied and they just can't do anything because they need an answer. So one of the ideas in this sample syllabus is trying to answer as many questions as you can. Okay. So with that, let's kind of look at it. Now, the first part of it, down through Roman numeral 3, the title, the course description, course objectives, of course, that's standard stuff. Okay. That would be no different than what a syllabus would be for on campus. Content outline, that would probably also be the same as a campus-based course. One thing I might point out there, I've got text topics. Now, the textbook that goes with this does not have chapters. It has topics. Okay, so that's why that word is used, topics. If there was chapters, I would use the word chapters. Okay, instead. Roman numeral 5, Roman numeral 6, really nothing different or special about that. Page 2, Roman numeral 7. Text and resources, again, this is going to be pretty standard. You do want to make sure that you give the exact text and including the ISBN or equivalent number so that there's no question in their mind of what they need. One thing to think about, if you never have, is that these people, for the most part, are probably not ordering the books from the bookstore. Okay. They're going to be ordering them from other places, getting them from other places. So you need probably at least 2 weeks before the course starts. I would say it's a minimum of 2 weeks before the course starts to get out this textbook information to them, however you're going to do that. One nice thing is the Canvas sites are usually set up by then and populated with the students, and of course that's an easy way to do a mass email. But that's something that to definitely remember. Either that, or you have to set the course up so that they're not going to need the text for a couple, 3 weeks after the course starts. One way or the other. Now, in my case, I do have a required text, and then I have a reference text that I don't require them to buy, but try to make it plain that they're going to be using that. In my case, I do require them to use APA style, and they are writing a bunch of papers here. And so, again, just making that plain to them, too, of what the deal is. Other online resources, there's a lot of that's library-related stuff. Also, some Canvas things and stuff like that. One thing, just to say, I always check every time to make sure that any of these links that I've got in here are still good. Inevitably, there are several links in the syllabus. Inevitably, there'll be at least one that something has changed on it, and so just to make sure. Tech requirements, just to make it plain what they need and what's going to be needed there. That's fairly standard there. One thing that I know the tech people here recommend, and I know they're right, and that is it says you should have at least 2 current browsers. And I know just with Canvas alone that, I use Firefox most of the time, and it works fine most of the time. But occasionally, for some reason, it and Canvas doesn't get along. And I need to put grades in, I need to do something, and so I just go to another browser, and it always ends up working in the other browser. And then Firefox will come back alive again later. So yeah, that's important that people understand that's the deal there. Roman numeral 8, evaluation.
Can I ask you a quick
Yeah,
question?
Sure, please.
With Office,
Yeah.
do you have a problem with students using like Open Office or some other rather than strictly Microsoft Office?
Some of them will do that, and I have that program on my computer
Right.
to handle that. So if in cases deal, in most cases, what they do will open up an Office
Right.
quite commonly. Of course, if they save it properly, there's absolutely no issue with doing it. And you can set up Open Office, and students have asked me that. And I said, sure, you can use Office, and by the way, what you need to do is go in and set your saving defaults to Microsoft, and then we will not have an issue.
What about those that
at
think
all.
that who have Microsoft Works, and I'm hoping it's not still around,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
think that they have Microsoft Office.
Right, exactly. I haven't run into that for the last probably 3 or 4 years. I used to.
Right. I used to have that problem.
Yeah.
You might want to even put down the year to say Microsoft Office 2013, 2010, or whatever
Right.
would be acceptable to you. Also, because sometimes Canvas and turn it in, like depending if you want to have them go through the plagiarism checker, it has to be docx, PDF.
Oh, yes,
certain
right,
file
right,
formats.
right.
I mean, Canvas can open up Works in like almost any file type, but
Yeah.
if you want to do one of these other sort of tools, or to be able to mark it up with the annotation, it has to be certain file types.
Right.
Okay, yep. Okay. Evaluation and grading procedures. This is, of course, just trying to lay everything out in one place, including the due dates. Now, this is the only place in the syllabus where the due dates are, and that's intentional. So that, to be honest, for my own sake, so that I don't have more than one place that I have to remember to change a date, and then I forget for a new syllabus. So I only put it one place, and I reference this section in other places where I need to, but it's all there. And the points and the percentages, you don't need the percentages necessarily. I just decide to do that, and so there it's all laid out as far as what's due. They got one place to refer to, and I think the due dates are very important. because again, we're dealing with busy people, and one of their immediate questions is they want to know how much work and when's it going to be due. And that's
Right.
very important to them. One of the questions that's not unusual is, can I work ahead? And the reason is, I got a 2-week trip, to Europe, and I gotta get this all done now. I don't have time, type thing. And so, yeah, of course you can work ahead. But to have that there for them. Otherwise, you're going to get questions about it. Absolutely. Now, if you get, again, this particular syllabus is set up, there are no exams. It's strictly written submissions. So if you have exams, then you're going to need to do that. You're going to need to indicate those two. I think it would be okay where you might not always know the exact exam date. I mean, that's understood, that you could put an approximate date, something like that, around, or maybe give a range or something like that. But give them something, because if you don't, they're going to ask you anyhow. So you might as well go ahead and give it to them. Okay.
I have another quick
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
This is a graduate level course,
Yes, it is.
but this doesn't show a graduate scale. So would that be a problem, or do we need to use graduate scales?
It is a graduate scale for our department.
For your department, okay, for the College of Education, there's a different,
Okay.
sorry.
Yep.
So I just know I had to adjust my,
Sure. You're
Syllabus.
going to use whatever scale you use.
got it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The
just,
College of Nursing even has something different.
Oh, yes,
for
it's
undergrads.
different.
all,
oh my gosh,
Oh, sure.
everybody has their own scale.
Oh, sure. It's all different.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to adjust things,
Okay.
accordingly. You'll notice that there's a participation grade, and on page 3, a description of what participation means, okay? Because again, that's a natural question. What do you mean by participation?
Right.
And so to give it, and that's what I've got there. But again, you may want to tailor some of that somehow. But that's what that is. So that it's plain. And in my case, to be honest with you, it also helps me at times to remember to what's supposed to count and all that, and how I'm supposed to be doing that good stuff. I do not put down 1 point for this and 2 points for that. Okay, I deliberately don't do that because I don't want them to try to work the system. Okay, do I have it in my head? Yes. Okay, if they ask a particular question, I'll ask them. I mean, I'll answer it. So if they ask me, well, how many points do we usually get for, blah blah blah? I'll say, well, usually around something like that. I'll do that, but so I will answer a specific question if somebody asks us, but otherwise I don't go there. Attendance policy, that's boilerplate that the university requires for the most part. Although, well, some of it is, but as it says there, of course, attendance does not apply in a classic sense of on-campus courses. So do address it at least, because the university says you're supposed to. Okay. Roman numeral 10, academic honesty policy. This is definitely boilerplate. So, we have to put it, and so we
Oh,
put
absolutely.
it. So we put it.
Especially in an online
Yeah.
class.
But that doesn't mean you can't add something. And if you'll notice on page 4, I do. I have instructor policy, very last paragraph, and I have some information there. Okay. Just trying to expand a little bit, and what I'm hoping is to make it a little bit plainer, and a couple of things that I don't want them to be doing. Okay. So so I do that. Roman numeral 9, non-discrimination policy statement. Again, that's university required boilerplate. I don't mess with that at all. Other information, and this is mainly office hours and contact information, as you'll see there. So whatever the office hours are and all that good stuff, you put there. Notice I note the fact that it's in Central Time. Currently, I'm dealing with people from Mountain Time to Eastern Time. Okay, and it could be much broader than that. So I put Central Time. I do not say Daylight Savings Time or not. That they're going to have to figure out. Okay. but and then even put there when the semester starts, because they're not on our schedule, and so that's plain in case there's an issue there. Okay. Some people, in some cases, you may need to have nighttime office hours. That would be up to you and what you think is necessary, and then however you're going to do that. You'll note there that at the end I got that they can make appointments to talk to me if they wish outside of these hours, and I tell them how to do that. They just got to go to that URL, and available through that URL is actually my electronic calendar, and the available times are there. And so they just select an available time, and my calendar is automatically filled, and an email is sent to me to let me know that. Okay. Now, without getting wrapped up to how all that works, let me just say that in the newsletter that's coming out in November, there's actually going to be an article that talks about that and how to do that. But that's how they do it. Preferred means of contact. I think that's something that is probably a good thing to do. What's the best way to get a hold of you, and et cetera. Some people like phone, some people like email, some people like texting, blah, 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 et cetera. But that may not really work the best. So try to kind of lean them maybe toward one way, or maybe a couple ways, whatever you prefer. Try to do that. And that's okay. That's the heart or the core of it, if you will. Now going to page 5. This is going to be extra information. Okay. Again, the idea is to provide as much information as you can in one document. I'm just a believer in that it's best to have a single document to provide as much information as you can that they can refer to. Now, a lot of this information, I fully admit, particularly from this page 5 on, could be on the Canvas site, and not here. You could do that. My personal opinion about that is, even a really well-designed Canvas site, it can be hard to find things sometimes and know exactly where to go and to find certain information. Whereas you have it here, it's here. Another thing that I do is, one of the first things that I tell them right off the bat, I usually do it through a video on Canvas, kind of the hello, welcome to the course, a few comments. And then I tell them, the very first thing you need to do as soon as this video is over is you need to click on whatever it is they need to click on, print out the syllabus, that is the syllabus, print it out, and then sit down, take a little bit of time, and read through it. Okay? And then you'll want to keep this document in a handy place to refer to, because you'll need to. Okay? And in my opinion, it's much more convenient for people. It's much handier to do that rather than put all this information on Canvas. Not that you can't do that. Okay, so I'm just telling you what my thoughts there are on that. As far as the assignments, looking back at page 5, again, these are assignments that are set up particularly for this course, but I'd like to highlight just a few things about why some things are done the way they're done. First of all, the first assignment, journal article analysis. The objective of it, exactly what it is, what we're trying to do, so they understand that's the deal. A summary of steps. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is what you need to do. All right, so that they can see that very, very clearly. This is the thing, and then going down and expanding with some further information, selecting the article. Stating exactly. I personally like bullet points. I know some people don't, but I think bullet points makes things much simpler to understand details. So I do tend to use those a lot. So exactly, what as far as what they need to know as far as selecting the article and all that. I give them, in this case, a sample journal list to pick from, because they have to pick a peer-reviewed research article out of a journal. And I do that because this is actually one of the early courses that they take in our program. And so, they probably don't have a good idea of what peer-reviewed journals are within our field. And so I do give them some samples of some things, to help them there. Quite honestly, to avoid the question of, well, what's some places I could go? Well, there it is.
Not Wikipedia.
That's later. That's in here. That's in here. And then paper submission, exactly how that's going to work. And then I talk about a little bit about how they should write the paper, as far as it's in 3 sections and how that should be, and then specifics on format. Now, I am very picky about format. I know some people don't care about that quite as much, but I'm very picky about that. That's why I listed out there exactly what the format should be. And the reason for that is that in our field, things have to be done a certain way, and they need to get used to it. And again, with this audience particularly, this won't be anything new to them. They're used to this. And I give them the assignment length too. Now, it's a pretty broad range of pages that's deliberate, but again, that is an obvious question that gets asked, so you might as well answer it, okay, right up front. Then going on to the next page, some more information on the submission. No table of contents or index. I don't need it, don't want it. Just don't waste your time trying to make that plain to them. And then going on down, just with the details. Again, remind them you must use APA style. The next to last bullet point says don't use Wikipedia. Okay, and et cetera. Okay, but again, just giving details. And then the oral presentation, which is the second part of this assignment, telling them what's expected there, and stressing the fact that you'll see, presentation should be about 5 minutes long, because what they do is they have to video record this and submit it on Canvas. So, it should be about 5 minutes long, and what I'm basically trying to do there is don't go on, and do not read the paper. Okay, and that happens to be one of my pet peeves. So, trying to get that across, and maybe most of them won't. And anyhow, I'm trying to do it. Now, then in the last sentence is be prepared for a discussion on Canvas after you submit the video. And we do use this in Canvas. It's set up for a discussion deal and all that, to talk about that. One nice thing that I really like about this particular assignment for this is everybody has a different article. So we're covering a broad range of stuff. And it always, there's some information that comes out that that we can talk about in some way or another, and it's very educational, quite honestly, for everybody, including myself. Next assignment, questionable article. This is a very simple assignment, but again, the same basic thing: an objective, okay, basic instructions about what they need to do. In this case, all it is that they are supposed to find an article somewhere, somehow, mainly in the popular press, that they believe is questionable in some way or shape, form, and then to just tell us about it and what they think the problem is. Part of the purpose of the course is to be able to evaluate research when you read it, and so that's the reason for that. Now, I don't give them any places to go. I deliberately don't do that. Occasionally, I do get questions, and in this case, my answer always is just pick up a copy of USA Today. There'll be some in there. Okay. But that's a very simple assignment. The proposal report in this particular course, this is the big assignment, pretty involved for them to do. So what they've got to do is they've got to find an issue that is a problem that they want to help solve, and then they have to write this proposal report written to the decision maker, whoever that is. why is this a problem, justifying what their recommendations are, what the various options are, justify it all by research, by some peer review articles, and working out costs, all this stuff. This is a real life project, and this is real stuff. Most of the people, because these guys are, again, they're all working professionals. Most of them do a real thing in their business. And of course, that's even better because it's real life for them, and it actually may have some real use beyond academic things, and it's easier for them to understand too. And to get into it that way. So again, issue, whatever it is, the goal, what we're trying to do, the context of the assignment. I think that's important for this particular assignment, to give a little context to it. And then the way I've got this set up, well, the way I've chosen to do it is to do it in stages. There's 4 stages, as you see there, and so in the it refers back to the schedule that's on the second page as far as when each of these stages are due. So by that date, which is what those dates mean, by that date, that they have to meet with me, as it says, and have certain information provided at that meeting. Now, the meeting is done, and I, as it says there, it'll be held through Canvas using audio or video. I do have a little more information on the Canvas site about how to do that and all that. So they set up the meeting time, and then we talk. Of course, we could do it by telephone too, if we needed to, or we could even do it by Skype, if that was necessary. And if you'll notice, the stages, basically the way I've got this set up is the first one is basically that they've picked a topic, that they got some direction on where they're going. They've found at least one peer-reviewed article that addresses it, to make sure that, yes, there is some information out there on this, because there isn't always, but to make sure they've got that far, and then of course we go on and it just builds and go on, and that's to keep them on track. And this also is an assignment that's complicated enough that if a student tries to put this off to just a few days for it's due, that they will not be successful. So I'm kind of forcing their hand to do it along, and they do much better jobs because of that too. Okay. And then the stage 4 is just submit the report. Now I might add, submit the final report via Canvas, and I note a plagiarism check will be done. That's the only time in this assignment that a plagiarism check is done. That's deliberate, because if I had a plagiarism check done on any of this earlier stuff, there'd be big time plagiarism when they submitted the final document.
Do you have them also submit like their plagiarism checker as well? You could have them.
No.
They see, as soon as they submit it, it's part of the Turnitin repository.
Right.
So that's why if you did it first stage, like 1, 2 or something, it's
Right.
already in there. Then each time they'll say previously submitted paper.
Right.
So, but
No.
when they submit it, he sees the report and the student sees the report.
Oh, yes.
They see the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
there's no,
Okay.
they don't have to do anything extra.
No, there's nothing
and
extra.
They still submit it the same way that they normally do.
Yeah.
They don't have to go anywhere special in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just-
Yeah. But just making that plain, that a plagiarism check will be done, just
Right.
make that. And I haven't had any problems with this assignment with these people on that deal. Any issues like that, or a couple of times I have seen, it looks like it might be going on in one of the earlier stages, and I get it straightened out there. So I haven't any problem. And then the last page is just recommended websites for APA style. Now, you could certainly just put that on Canvas if you wanted to, instead of having it here, whatever. But I do that, and it's and that information, or what's available there, actually really just a couple of those sites, probably gives you everything you need to know as far as for what I'm needing here and everything. So anyhow, so that's why that's there. Again, I just might just close this off, and then if you have any questions, certainly take them. But I think a very key thing is understanding the audience and who you're talking to, trying to think about what some of the obvious questions that you're going to get and just go ahead and address them up front. And again, I'm trying to make a document that is that they can keep and have readily available, they can refer to easily. And I think that helps things. And that's really about it. Do you have any other questions or anything?
No, I really like how you have them meeting with you at 4 different stages, and at each stage they get incremental points
Right.
for this biggie assignment, the proposal. So that way you do get to work with them, and it is a one-on-one meeting,
Yes.
so that you're working with them toward the final report, and by the time they get to that final report, there shouldn't be any surprises, and they should have everything
Exactly. in
perfect format.
The final report should, you're absolutely right, and it's been in my experience too. It's usually, if there's anything wrong with it, it's because they did not do something they were told.
They didn't follow your
Exactly.
your suggestions and your advice.
Exactly.
And so
That way there's learning throughout.
Right,
Otherwise,
and- right.
when professors have it be,
Yeah.
your paper's due at the end of the semester, well, then they get it, they leave the class, it's too late. Any miscomprehension
Yeah.
or
Right.
things that were wrong,
Yeah.
you can't address those anymore.
and that one-on-one tutoring and working with them by the end, that is very invaluable,
Mhm.
because you're not working with them as a whole group,
Oh,
as a
sure.
whole
Oh,
class.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is one-on-one
And I find that
learning.
I find 30 minutes is adequate. I don't know that I've ever gone over 30 minutes with it. So
And you offer multiple modes of working with them. With Skype would be face to face,
Mhm.
over the phone. So any student taking this class would be
Would feel comfortable with
Right.
the choice.
yeah, exactly. We don't have any students from overseas at the moment, although we do get a lot of inquiries, and I'm sure we will one of these days. For those, my guess is we'll probably have to get into Skype a little more.
and
doing
work
that.
out the whole time.
And work
time
it out.
zone
Work it out.
differences.
But that's be an issue too. But it can be done.
So this would be an awesome class to take
Yeah.
as a student, to get that one-on-one
Mhm.
experience with the instructor as an online student.
Yeah.
It helps keep the students on track.
Mhm.
Right.
That
Yeah.
they don't start to just disappear from
And
the
you
course.
can't say, well, that instructor didn't provide me any help. Are
Right.
you kidding me?
Yeah. I might add one other thing on syllabus design. If anybody wants to get some help on this kind of stuff, I certainly would be happy to talk to people. But another very good resource is Lydia. And all you gotta do is give Lydia.
My favorite person.
Yeah, all you gotta do is give Lydia your syllabus as it exists, and she will go through it and use lots and lots of red and make suggestions and things like that. And I will tell you, a lot of this is what she has taught me. So. I'll do
Well,
it,
I will
so.
certainly keep her in mind. She has certainly helped me with lots of my preparations as a new faculty member already. So that's one reason I'd like to sign up for these courses. So but I do appreciate it. I've been an online instructor, and this definitely gives me a different perspective of looking at a syllabus from Murray's standpoint. So I like seeing and learning new ways of looking at syllabi. So thank you.
Well, thank
I
you so
appreciate
much,
it.
David. We really
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you sharing your thoughts with us and
Yeah.
your experience.
Another thing that you can do, I'm not saying you should, but you can. I think you have to think through it a little bit if you think you want to do this. Is one of the things that you could do on Canvas through video or audio, whatever, is to walk them through the
Right.
thing. The only caveat there that I would, or caution that I would say there would be you're going to really have to watch the length.
Right.
If you
start to lose them.
Yeah. If you start going on and on and on and on, and that's easy,
Right.
you're going to lose them.
Oh,
So-
definitely. They're
so-
going to go click.
Yeah, so you got to think about that, and if
Right.
whether or not that would actually be useful.
You do that in face-to-face classrooms
Yeah,
as
face to
well.
face is a little different, too. But you can do that a little easier, I think, in face to face and get through it. Okay, it's fine. But
You could do a little.
But a video thing. I mean, you put up a 45-minute video to explain the syllabus. That's way too long.
I actually recommended, I had a workshop earlier this semester talking about first day of class activities. And I really recommended not to
Yeah.
log up the whole first
Right.
day of class, just reading the syllabus.
Right.
Right.
But you can point out some things and then there are
Right.
other things.
Highlight.
That
Yeah.
you can address, or to get them to work so that when they leave your first class, they already have learned something.
Right.
And have a
Yeah.
big question on the board that they have to discuss or tackle, that they talk to somebody. Or you can even have it be a syllabus speed dating. They
Mhm.
go across and say, all right, so tell me when your first, assignment is due. And they're-
Right.
there's other ways.
Almost
you
like
can
a
Yeah,
address
there's
little
other ways
syllabus
to do it.
treasure hunt, or
Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called, but we've done that before in other.
And some people will, they'll have a quiz at that, to say, oh, have you read the syllabus, take the quiz on it, Instead, I kind of like the idea of having it be, students love extra credit points,
Mhm.
like, oh, extra credit, And you can say, oh, here's the cookie, the little extra. And instead, if you do quizzes or things like that, every once in a while, just throw in an extra credit point. It's just 1 point. It's not, depending on the rest of the scale. But have it be a question about something with the syllabus. So that way they always want to keep track. They're like, oh, I'm going to miss out on free points because I don't know the syllabus. What's my preferred means of contact? Email, this. And they're like, oh, if I knew that, if I kept track of that, then they just got that extra point.
Right.
So you sprinkle this throughout the semester. They keep track of the syllabus throughout. It's not a biggie.
So my
but
students are definitely on track with the syllabus. They bring it and they're like,
Good.
so they are.
Yeah.
They don't have a problem with the syllabus.
All right, well,
All
thanks
right.
I
again.
appreciate it.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.